Tame Impala has dropped a new single called Borderline, and in this single, pretty much the narrative that follows is Kevin talking about the potential of a relationship shifting, and this shift may potentially be a breakup. The change sort of is talked about in almost apocalyptic ways when he mentions we're on the borderline, we're dangerously close to rapture, like to a potential end. Now, I'm not sure if Kevin is thinking about the apocalypse hardcore or something, but it is an interesting narrative because it sort of almost feels like a prequel to New Person, Same Old Mistakes in the way that that one talked about someone changing. This one talked about something's about to shift in my life. And it's not a general statement. Again, it's kind of narrowed down to just a relationship, but it can still be applied to that, like being on the borderline of anything. And this is even furthered by the way that sonically the beat kind of stays funky and groovy, and it has like these little the bass guitar that comes in, and towards the end there's a sweet little flute that was awesome, and I am glad that they put that in there, that comes in towards the end. And it's even with Kevin, like through the lyrics, there's this awesome hook, and I cannot keep all the words in my brain that long, but pretty much the basis of it is you're peppered with these bullets of like incredibly anxious questions, because they're like, he's asking a question, but then there's another one. Can I be close enough? Like he's throwing all these questions out, and it sort of resembles and illustrates that anxious, like wondering what's going to happen next. What's the next shift? Being on that borderline, knowing that it's coming, he's trying to hang on for as long as he can. And it seems like he's not a fan of LA. It's like, LA messed me up. And just the overall like groove and vibe behind the song is so awesome. It's really catchy, that like just the questions that you're peppered with, and I just can't remember them perfectly, but pretty much it kind of has a rhythm, and it keeps going throughout, like through parts of like tension, again illustrating that tension. It's not only done as like through the guitar going like it builds up, but it doesn't coalesce in the same way that Patience might. Again, the idea of being on the borderline of something, it fits this narrative, and I really enjoy the sonicality behind it as well. It really has this really groovy kind of factor that makes it almost feel like this isn't an anxious thing, but yet it does have that sad quality to it, because he also says like, I'm alone again, loner in LA, enjoying the show. Like it has like sad moments in here. It's just done under this guise of like groovy, fun song that really feels like going through this like wavy scape of sounds, and we were kind of just watching Kevin ponder and try to figure out. And the cool thing about it is it fades out and he's still asking questions, because he's on the borderline. We're not supposed to get answers when we're on the borderline. It's only after the thing happens and we're faced with adversity do we typically find those answers to those questions. That means like waiting for something, or knowing, having that like kind of like terrifying knowing of like something's gonna happen, but you're just not sure how it's gonna play out. That's sort of what's happening here, done under this groovy soundscape. I love the flute at the end. I thought that was a wonderful choice. I like the bass guitar that slips in and out here, and again, just the way that Tame Impala does music is great. I love the synths, and I want to say there's an electric guitar in there, but I'm not sure. I think that I'm probably wrong on that front. So overall, this is an awesome song, and I really love it. I love the narrative behind it, and I am excited to see if maybe Tame Impala is going to drop a project, because this is the second most recent single. Like first there was Patience, then there's this. So I just feel like it's building up to something. Like the themes seem to be following, you know, first there was patience and waiting for something, and now borderline and being anxious about something about to change, and knowing that the change is on the horizon. There's even a part where he says, here comes the sun. You're getting close to what you're looking for. So we'll see if they do end up dropping a full-length project, but for now, I am enjoying the singles that they have given us. First there was Patience, now we're on the borderline. Wonder what's coming next. Tame Impala. Well, this guy says some people are on the borderline of greatness. Some people are on the borderline of the success that will define their lives. And even if you aren't, you're probably on the borderline to finding your way there. And I applaud you. Me? I'm on the borderline to get some waffles. See ya! Oh!